Nashville has been selected by the Boring Company for an underground loop project. There's a lot of politicians really upset about this. Apparently, free is just too expensive when your ideals get in the way. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about the facts, the myths, and the answers from the Boring Company itself, which of course means I am joined by my good buddy Mark. Because, Zangler's still on vacation, so we can't cover his footage just yet. He may be back by now, but this is recorded
a little bit
in advance. I like how your finger blurs out.
Blurs these blurry fingers.
Obscene. I don't even want to know. Please save it in the comments. What does that disgusting finger mean? I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Whoa, intro. I'm a professional. You'd think I'd done this before, but today's intro might make you think twice. Hey, did you hear that Nashville has been selected? Tennessee and the Boring Company unveiled Music City Loop as zero-emission, high-speed transit system connecting downtown Nashville to the airport. Construction expected to begin in fall of 25. Initial legs operational as soon as a year-ish later. Zero taxpayer dollars or funds, and it is built to the 130 safety standard.
Of course it is.
I don't know what that means. I assume that's a safety standard. Any thoughts on this before we get into what we'll cover, which is the frequently asked questions?
Good call to push this out from, again, a very popular, two popular destination arrival points. The airport itself and the downtown core of Nashville. So that's where the tourists go. And of course, the airport is usually how they arrive to do conventions and visit the city and whatever else. So it's an excellent way to connect with a new transportation system and avoid people from driving on the roads and free up some car space as well. So it's a positive thing because it's aimed specifically at fulfilling a task.
Yes. And guys, if you're excited about construction projects, we're going to have a drone flying over the streets of Nashville looking at the progress every week.
That'll be fantastic, Brian. Did you come up with that with yourself? Really?
Just now. I'm really pleased with myself. It's such a great idea. Just every week out there with the drone. They're probably here-ish, maybe. It's tough to say.
Oh, there they are. No, that's a manhole cover. Sorry.
It's just, and people are like, this is equally as informative as your other videos. So let's get back to it here. The loop will utilize, because this is built in America for Tennesseans. So if you're from Alabama on a tourist visa, I don't know if you can use it. I don't know. The loop system will utilize American-made tunnel. I assume they need visas. Tunneling equipment built. That's the thing is, this is as American-made as it gets. The equipment was built in Texas. The humans operating it will not even be operating it. It's a neat system. Modern connectivity, fast underground travel linking, smarter traffic management, tourism friendly, safe and cost effective, infrastructure preservation, reduce wear and tear on the public roads, privately funded, no taxpayer investment, fully funded by the Boring Company and its private partners. And we're just going to charge you the cost of admission.
Yeah.
And when RoboTaxi gets here, we're probably going to let them use it to skip traffic. Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely.
I mean, you could take a Waymo across Nashville and it'll be 36 minutes, or take a RoboTaxi and it'll be about 4 minutes, because it's just going to pop in the tunnel and pop out the other side. So I love corporate Q&A pages, because these questions, I promise you, have never been asked. Certainly not frequently. What is the Music City Loop? No one asked that. Not one person. But why don't you tell us what it is, Mark?
Well, it's not really. It's a loop in the sense that it's a 2-tunnel system, to and from.
Yes.
So it goes from the airport directly to downtown core somewhere, and then it goes back, and that is it. Now, of course, the Boring Company will be looking for other partners to add, just like they did in Las Vegas. Once something's been approved, and they start moving forward with it, there'll be other groups like the convention center. There'll be
The
hotels.
arena, the
Exactly.
hotels,
Exactly.
the
They'll
major
want to
shopping mall.
participate, right? They'll
Yes.
want to participate, and some of them will sign up to extend the lines to that, and that's how the Boring Company expands and makes more sense for the city. But again, the title for this whole thing should have been, of course, Nashville Gets Boring.
Ah, he got me with that one before the show, and it tickled me twice. Okay. Here's a frequently asked question, Mark. Frequently, that's what this is. How will information be shared?
Okay, yeah, no one asked
Who?
that question.
Who?
No one.
Who asked that? May I meet them? Is it? Oh, you know who asked them? My super hot girlfriend. She goes to a different school. You wouldn't know her. So anyway, Nashville. I mean, fine. You can just apparently email because it's the Boring Company and not one of Elon's other companies. I expect they will not reply with a poop emoji. There will be numerous in-person local meetings and events. What happens next?
As of August 10th, that's a design phase. So
Okay.
the Boring Company will be submitting drawings, submissions about how this is going to be built, where it's going to be built, what stipulations are going to be required to get it done. And that the city is going to have to review this, and there'll be some back and forth on that. But this is typically what happens whenever you put something to tender.
Yes. And it's going to be, as I understand, traveling under existing rights of way.
Yeah, some of the highways being used, so it's already run by the state, and they'll give up the rights to have a couple of tunnels mirror that.
Yeah. When will it begin? We already discussed that. How will it be funded? We already discussed that. Why Nashville? Now that is a frequently asked question, but not just in regards to the Boring Tunnel. It's just something people ask. Why Nashville?
And it depends on how they say it as to what it's about. Yes.
Yeah. So it's all of this is a bunch of nonsense. The city's congestion, high volume of tourists, strong workforce. It's because they said yes.
Yeah, every city's like that. There's no difference really.
Yeah. This is equal parts pandering to readers and pandering to politicians.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's the best city in the world. And I don't. Oh, good evening, Cleveland. You're the best crowd. All right. I don't know how many people say that with a straight face about Cleveland, but at least
many do. Come on, many do.
Know. At least it's not Gary. Gary, Indiana, I'm told, is a war zone. How long has it been in discussion? About a year. Interesting.
Okay. I wonder if they made the trip out to Las Vegas. Some politicians.
Politicians go to conventions.
Yep.
So that would be reasonable. Now, here's a commonly asked questions. How many tunnels will there be per alignment? The hell is an alignment? I'm guessing.
That's when you run over the curb too hard and your tire goes a little bit funky.
I'm guessing that you asked the engineers sitting in front of you what the most commonly asked questions will be. And they're like, well, people are going to want to know about our dual alignment capacity. It's 2 tunnels. Will it be disruptive? Is the ground going to shake? I love this question.
The answer most likely is no. But no. There are situations where I'm sure they look at the possibility of how far are we underground and what type of infrastructure will we be running into and what type of basements are in the area. How far do they go down? Is it a large tower that maybe has 3-4 stories underground? Then we've got to contend with those type of things.
If you're talking about by the highway, if there's a big interchange, those footings could go quite deep. But there is bedrock in Tennessee. So it is my assumption that that's not an issue. In terms of the shaking, they said, if you were standing on the sidewalk and someone walked past you on the sidewalk, you would be more likely to feel their vibration than this vibration.
Yeah.
Because to answer your second question, how do you know they're not going to hit any utilities? Utilities are 5 to 15 feet. We're going to be at 30.
Yeah.
They're going to be reviewing all the as-built. You're going to be using ground-penetrating radar and more.
And also, do you know that program where everyone is supposed to call before they dig? I am sure that the Boring Company, they reach out to the appropriate authorities, the utilities, the others, and say, "Listen, we're building this. Just want to make sure that the path is 30 feet down is clear."
Actually clear. And at 30 feet, I assume there will be very few entities to contact. That's really deep. You're in solid rock at that point. It's not like they pulled out a ditch witch and actually put down some conduit 30 feet into bedrock.
Oh, look, here's some Cat 5. How did that get there?
Did you bring that with you just for the gag? Yeah, I did. And they'll, of course, have sensors on the buildings and all that. What's the process of tunneling underneath private property? Yeah, well, that would require permission. That's why we're sticking with this standard easement, and any stations will be dealt with private owners.
Yeah.
Will there be air pollution?
It's underground, so no. And it's using electric vehicles to drive in it once it's complete, so no.
Yes, and isn't the boring machine itself electric?
Yep.
Yeah. So how will hard rock and dirt from the tunneling be handled? I mean,
it goes to a spoils pond, and it's cleaned up, and the proper amounts of the discharge can be released back into the environment, and others have to be gathered and stored properly.
Mm-hmm. Identical to any other excavation project, like the foundation for a high-rise building. Does it use any hazardous chemicals during the tunneling? Really?
Maybe that big tub of acid is used, but no, it's not. There's nothing there.
It's an industrial lubricant, but there have been reports of skin irritation from people who've stepped in it. But okay, sure. Let's say no. Maybe it is no. Maybe it's a different procedure. I'm sure it has a material data safety sheet, but
this next question's the best.
Will it be safe?
Absolutely not. It's a roll of the dice. That's what makes it exciting.
When I was 12, I went to Expo 86 in Vancouver, BC.
Yes.
And there was a questionnaire everyone got to take because we got to see visions of the future. And one of them the questionnaire was, rank these in order of importance for mass transit: safety, speed, cost, convenience. And I put speed at number 1 because I'm 12. And my mom put safety at number 1. And I looked at her like, are you joking? She's like, no, I'm from a different time and I'm a parent. So no, safety is number 1 for me. I'm like, all right, enjoy life in the slow lane, you square. Because that's how we talked in 1986 as 12-year-olds. So we've been over all this before. Fire escape tunnel hatches and stairwells are at regular intervals. If it looks like they aren't in Vegas, it's because the stations are so close together that there is no need for one. It doesn't have enough ventilation. For what fumes, my friend? Oh, what if there's a fire? Well, there hasn't been, and it has its own fire department. They've thought of these things. This is safer than having a third rail down the middle that people will step on and get electrozapped. So it's Vegas Loop was awarded the Gold Standard Award by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the highest level of recognition available for top scores. Vegas Loop was evaluated across 17 categories and earned a near perfect score of 99.57, the highest score ever awarded to a transportation system. It does not surprise me that the Vegas Loop is safer than, say, the L train. That is, how do people use it? Oh, well, this is good information. Cute. I mean, it is. Well, in Vegas, you use it by having your convention pass, but this is scan a QR code. You can buy the tickets online or scan a QR code. Will the Music City Loop stations, where will they be and how large will they be? So
doesn't that all depend on the destination?
Well, isn't life a journey, you guys? So this sounds like they're taking the Vegas Loop approach, which is we're going to build the trunk. We're going to put both ends of it. And where we will stop in between is up to the people in between. Because we'll pay for the trunk, but if you want a spur, you're paying for that.
Yeah.
Because we could have as little as a 4-stall with a footprint of 4,000 square feet. Well, 4 stalls, that's not enough. Sure it is. Sure it is, because it's 4 stalls turning every couple minutes. That's a lot of traffic. Or a 20 stall for 20,000 square feet. That's compact. They can be surface or subsurface, depending on the property owner's preference. And who are those property owners? We just talked about it.
Yep.
Why do you ride in a loop? And who do you ride with in a loop? And why doesn't it use high occupancy vehicles?
Well, of course, there is the talk of high occupancy vehicles, but of course, people like to drive in their own vehicles and go directly to those spots that they want to go to. Yes, in the beginning, this will be from the airport directly to downtown. But as those spur lines get built, people will want to go to different hotels, different events, different stadiums. And they would rather not get in a subway type train with 300 other people and stop at the 15 stops in between. They would much rather go direct if they could.
Oh, we have to get out here and change to the 3.
Right.
Now, this is something I've been talking about for probably 2 years. There are some scenarios, like a stadium on game day, where people might have the same destination. Even if there's 50 stops on game day, there will be people going to the same stops. And then they could use higher occupancy vehicles. And that is the only way to empty a stadium. You can't do it 2 by 2, Noah. It doesn't work. So you would want to, everyone goes through the turnstile, you scan it, you look at the name on the front, you hop in and you're gone. And the beauty is, unlike with buses and trains that do that, these are going to be back in like 11 minutes to get the next load of people.
Yeah.
Because it will go to that, straight to that destination, open the door, everyone out. Maybe one person gets in, probably 0. It shuttles back and repeat.
Now, this does make sense that as the Boring Company is successful with these build-outs, with these adding stadiums and things to the mix, they're going to look for a higher occupancy vehicle as time goes along. The RoboVan may be an option in the future to haul 20 people instead of 4. So that type of thing, but it's definitely going to have to be electrified. And of course, they're going to have to look at what is the size of the tunnel and make sure that the selected vehicle is going to operate properly in that space.
Now, I think we only have time to address 2 more. These are good ones. If you want to see the whole list, it's at boringcompany.com. Just go there. If you want, add a /music-city-loop. But I mean, let's not get crazy here. Will there be human drivers or autonomous vehicles? Initially, drivers, until it's time.
Yep.
I think that's fantastic transparency and honesty. And lastly, how is the loop different from a subway? It's all the things you were just saying, Mark. Loop passengers go directly anywhere between station 1 to 100 without stopping at all the other stops. Thus, it's every train is an express train when you're on in a boring tunnel.
That's right.
And because we're using a small diameter instead of a big old tube, it winds up being 100 times less expensive to build. I got to tell you, I am so tired of people in the comments saying, well, Sydney built a subway that can handle 200,000 people a day. Well, yes, but it's $1 billion a mile. Their 67 miles of subway costs more than the annual budget of the state of Tennessee. That's not something that Nashville will ever put in.
No, you're not going to get people agreeing to up their taxes to pay for a $64 billion train ride. Not going to happen.
And if you're talking about the alternative to this boring tunnel is not a subway. What's the alternative? Nothing.
Taxis on the road surface.
Well, they already have those.
That's the
alternative is nothing.
True.
Nothing.
Yeah.
If you own, guys, look, I agree with you. They should have a subway instead. So here's what I need you to do is pitch your subway that you will install for free and make your money back by charging money to the riders, and let me know how it works out. And if I sound a little flippant, good, you're paying attention. I just get a little worn out.
I think you've said that more than once now. So yeah.
Yeah. So what we've got going on here. So as you know, Mark, that means it is question time every week. We answer your questions in exchange for just one thing, a like.
A like.
Come on, you gotta do
We're not
it.
asking for much.
This is last week we covered the big battery report from Jeff Don and from the EV Society. Great folks all around. It was wonderful. Let's get into them questions. My next question is, when will Tesla give us vehicle to grid?
When? Good question. I don't have an answer for that. It's something that we believe is coming, but I don't have an answer. Do you have an answer, Brian? Did they let you know?
I'm going to go with Mark on this one. Yeah. They did not. No, we don't know. It looks like the circuitry may be there. It may now be something they could switch on. It is not a priority. I do not understand why. So, unfortunately, we do not know. This is another question about that. This is one where other manufacturers are ahead. Ford Lightning's got PowerShare. Yeah, Cybertruck can do this. But then I would ask, if it's possible for the Cybertruck, why isn't it on the other models?
It could be.
It could be.
Yep.
And the answer, I'm going to go back to Mark and just say, yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Rob Cooper says, good discussion. Heck yeah. That gets a likey like from me. Interesting thought experiment. If most 9-to-5ers could plug into vehicle-to-grid capable chargers at work, who would gain or lose? Could the employer somehow get in on the action? Would the cheap power at the peak of the duck curve be an incentive to get good employees because they're getting a little bonus?
Well,
David, I love it. I love it.
I don't know if they get better employees because of the peak of the duck curve. They get cheaper electricity
because $6-7 of savings once a day.
Yeah,
maybe?
that's not going to do it. I don't think.
No.
But think of the possibilities of others now, not just collecting or spending electricity in the evening, but yeah, through the duck curve hours. That would be a great scenario for many power utility companies. And of course, it would be typically a different area of town too, but all connected to the same grid.
Yeah, I think there's a solution in here, David. It is a wonderful question. I think it's just too soon to know the answer. We're going a little long, so we're not going to do too many of these, but do you think Tesla will start to offer bi-directional charging in the future? Yeah, we hope so. By the way, Don taught me physics, says Ben Buckley. I was a miserable student then, not a failure. I was a miserable student then, but now always love seeing his research related to batteries. That's cool.
Very
I
good.
had a couple professors like that were very cool. But when is Tesla going to make a vehicle-to-grid standard across their models? I feel a trend emerging, Mark.
And we have the same question.
We are also curious. Is vehicle-to-grid still as useful with a lower max amperage? Aha. Yes, it is. So even if you're charging 120, could you still get in on it? Yes, you could.
Yeah.
But you're only going to make 20 cents an hour.
Yeah, pennies on the dollar. Yeah.
Right. But yes. Now the reality is you probably couldn't put more back into the grid than your house is already draining. So you might not be eligible. Yeah. So why hasn't Tesla and others added it? Why haven't they added it? Seems like a great selling point as well as something they could advertise. I don't think it's ready for advertising. I don't think people get it. I don't think people understand what you're trying to advertise. And I don't think it would fit in a 30-second pitch. I think it'd be very confusing to the average non-EV owner and even to most EV owners. What do you think?
I agree with that statement. It is a complex subject to most, but you listen to Jeff Don, for example, as we did, and it just became very simple. Like he's got a way of putting it that makes a lot of sense that, hey, people are buying all these batteries, but the most batteries are already in cars. Why not we just make that the power source that we can share with the grid, as opposed to just putting them in power walls? Everybody's got 4.5 power walls in their car already. Why don't we just use that?
Just give me access to half of one of them. Uh, think of how many EVs are sold every day in the US across all brands. It's thousands. And if you could get even 10%, that's hundreds of power walls worth of additional capacity every day. Now, not every utility is going to let you, and some are going to make the deal not good. I was mentioning in another show that in Florida, at least it used to be that if you had solar on your rooftop, uh, you could sell it back to the utility. But all the power you got from the utility was at retail, and all the power you gave back was at the wholesale rate.
What a deal.
What?
For the power company, that is.
So if I pull 10 kilowatts and I give you back 25 kilowatts, I probably still have a bill, don't I? Oh, absolute.
Those Florida power companies, they know how to sell a deal. Let me tell you.
It's the Sunshine State, but don't you touch that sunshine.
It's not yours.
It's not yours. It's the state sunshine. It's right on our license plate. Vehicle to grid could level out spikes, right?
Yes, it can.
Yeah. And that's the great question. It can level it out on both sides. If there's a big spike in supply, it can absorb. And if there's a big dip in the supply, it can provide. So it can pull off the extremes of both sides of the curve. It's wonderful.
And if you want a white paper on extremes with grid power from batteries, look at South Australia. They've had huge swings in pricing on their network just because of the time of the day. And if you had a couple of battery packs or your car was vehicle to grid, you could capitalize on that.
You absolutely could. The last thing that I needed to share, because this one is too important, is that YouTube is doing that thing again where they peel subscribers off for no good reason. It's a bot purge, but it ends up hitting people too. So if you think you're subscribed, please double check. And if you're not subscribed, hey man,
what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? It doesn't cost anything. You can also subscribe to Mark's channel. He does pretty okay work, I guess.
Thanks, Brian.
No, I love your show. And if you check him out live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, they have a chat. They actually read it. You can make Casey laugh. Whether he reads the comment out loud or posts it is a different matter. And it's more, I trust his discretion on that because I've seen the comments some people leave, namely me. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave a question. Clearly, we're not above answering it. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. Stay tuned and juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, when you're in a tunnel. I'm losing you. I'm in a tunnel.